teaches me listen, and boy does she sing. Her voice sways like a hummingbird, flies like a shooting. Welcome to the Girl Awakening podcast. I'm Jo Hendy from the Sacred Sister Project.
I'm Amanda Parker from Mayella Organics.
Together each week we will share a vulnerable, open and honest podcast about the awakening process in all of its sacredness. Okay, good morning listeners. This is an impromptu Girl Awakening potty for the 8th of November.
Yes, total full moon.
Lunar eclipse, blood moon.
Yep.
And there's lots happening. There's so much energy around at the moment that we thought, let's jump on and go for it. Let's talk about it. And plus you have all your,
Bit of astrology
background.
Insights, but I feel like we've been reading through a lot ourselves on a personal level, but that collective level, that empathically picking up and resonating with, and it's something that you just can't escape.
No. And if, like majority of our listeners will be feeling this, I reckon. And I know I've already spoken to a friend in Sydney. Hi, Jen. I know she'll be listening.
Jen.
That there's something big about this moon. And I know that Elizabeth Peru, who we love, does the tip-off, does our weekly forecast. I know that she actually said that it's one of the most influential shifts in consciousness that's going to happen this year, which is today and moving forward in the next post-eclipse as well.
Yes, yeah. This is kind of like a sign-off on a major 18-year cycle of lunar eclipses, a family of eclipses.
Yes.
And even we're talking dimensions as well, like my dear auntie.
Yeah.
Good morning, Patricia, who has studied esoterically for many years, was sharing about the portal to the fourth dimension opening, or is open now, which explains so much from the feelings of expansion, but then also resistance and fear, and then excitement, and not knowing why the fluctuation from one to the other is kind of happening, but it's allowing, but not the message. This big message this week is like not just sitting back and waiting, sitting back and stopping the work that you're doing. It's actually stepping up even more into that space of what you really believe, what you really feel to be true, and what is right within you, where that gut really sits well.
Farah, that just sounds like I can feel what you're saying, and I can also feel the ladder, which is the negative mind that's been playing and trying to come in. As soon as we have, I know personally that when I have a breakthrough, or if I've even have had a really big session with somebody, or I've been on a big walk with you in the morning and we've really opened our hearts and we've been vulnerable and all of that, and we're creating this amazing space. The next thing that happens is the negative will try and come in.
Yes.
And it's like, that's just how it plays out. And I think when our awareness is growing, we become more attuned to that, and we know now that, okay, I'm open to all, which means I'm open to the negative energy as well. So it's being able to observe it and
not attached to it, and don't hold it, allow it to reach into it, try to understand it, feel what it's there, lean in.
I just wanted to backtrack just one second because dimensions, I just wanted to talk about that because I know that a lot of our listeners will understand what a dimension is or what dimensions are, but I just wanted to clarify my understanding of it, just so that the listeners can kind of I suppose have another viewpoint. But my understanding is dimensions aren't levels that we step up to or step down to. Dimensions are something that are around us always, and we float within them, and depending on where we're at the time, where our energy is at, where our consciousness is at. where we're playing. So, you know, you can be in 5D in those moments of bliss and of those moments of freedom, and where you feel like you can do anything. And I think there's a lot more people that are playing in that area more. And then we can, you know, float back into the 4D where there's time and there's, you know, there's we put constrictions on things and conditions and responsibilities,
limitations.
And then we can step right back into the 3D where we are in, you know, the fight or flight, repeat, the negative, positive, all those type of things. So we are floating within all of those dimensions. You're not just in one permanently, and that you're constantly floating in and out. So I just wanted to give you that idea. So it's not that anyone's any higher or lower. We are all constantly moving in and out. And I suppose what we're moving into more is the 5D, which is the beautiful, you know, the part of us that is trust. It's all about us. It's all about
more true to soul.
Yeah.
And it's about you know, that saying, no man left behind. Like, the thing is, it's about the collective consciousness as well. Is like, well, there's many people who have been working for a very long time on themselves, in themselves, and what their purpose here is about. And moving, as you say, in these dimensions quite freely. And it's not about anyone not being worthy of
absolutely
moving into these dimensions, but the power lies in, you know, being kind to one another, helping one another, lifting each other up, because the more voices, the more souls, the more people that are in this space of moving into these dimensions and growing, learning, accepting, freeing. That's where the mass consciousness, the group energy, allows it to happen on a greater scale, and we see these big changes that can happen.
And that's what's happening with this new moon. It's like it's so powerful. So we're going to read. I just want to. We've actually done a little bit of research, and then Amanda's got her own stuff that she's going to go through as well. Just around different viewpoints from different people, that what's actually occurring right now within the next kind of 24 hours.
Yes. Yeah. You saw a beautiful piece, didn't you? That's quite. That was
this one was just off Instagram, off one of the sites that I follow, and it's just saying, be prepared for abrupt endings as well as significant and profound new beginnings. Work with this energy by focusing on the reoccurring themes of recent times. So this is just anything that you've been going through lately. Just be aware of those, the repetitive signs. Don't deny any realizations that come to your consciousness at this time. As uncomfortable as it is, it's crucial to not resist the changes. In other words, let's just let go and go with the flow. Avoid being caught up in the repetitive, unhealthy cycles. Lose your security blanket and let go of stagnant energies to be more aligned with the frequency of your desires. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I love
it. It's so you can feel the flow in it, but you can also feel the resistance in it. And it's like, you know, it's a choice that we need to make. Do we want to right now create a new moment to move forward in those beautiful, intuitive moments that we've been having? Because I know I've been personally having these amazing signs and repetitive signs happening, and I've been really in the flow, and I can even feel myself wanting to grab hold of it, wanting to attach to it, and I'm like, and I just keep getting no, you know, be open, because as soon as we want to grab hold of anything, we're going to stop the flow. So it's like,
and I think for me, I go into my head. I come out of here, out of my heart, and into my head, and I start thinking about it, and I think, oh, you know, if I really want this to happen, I've got to make sure I think about that detail and that detail. But it's this is where the letting go is. It's not. It's just about allowing it to be.
It's outside of the details.
It's outside of the details.
The details have nothing to do with it.
It's all organised. We don't have to think about the details.
But it's so true, because it's almost, that's like a default.
Yes.
It's what we, and that's the little sneaky, I want to swear then, sneaky fuckery that comes in, you know, that it's like, no, Joe, you've done this before and it works this way. And it's like, oh no, I've even got to let go of those, you know, the details and the defaults, and the way things were are not the way things are going to be.
where we're moving into.
Yeah. So on that note, do you want to, let's talk a little bit about the astrological side of things, because I know you're so good at that.
And by no means I'm not. I'm just, but I love it. It's a beautiful, it's a passion.
Absolutely. And can we be a little detailed for the listeners, like when you were talking about the planets and also the star signs that align, about those a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. Well, so the sun at the moment is in Scorpio, which is a water sign and deeply intuitive and very much into the esoteric energies, and it's all about deep shit.
Yeah.
But but also deep magnetism and ability to be in a space where the thought and the feeling are so powerful. Staying on the higher track, if you want, rather than the lower track, which is, staying in your shit or throwing shit at other people. Is like being honest and kind, not being mean and spiteful.
Okay, so my understanding of that, not knowing what is Scorpio. So the sun is in Scorpio. Mm-hmm. So does this mean sun being bright energy, that whatever you've just explained about Scorpio is now beaming down on us? Is that
yes? Opportunity to explore your shit.
Okay.
Own your shadows. Step through those things that hold you back because you feel, I won't say happy in your shit, but be the lotus, as they say, that comes out of the mud.
Yeah.
And,
beautiful.
And love how it's fertilized you. You're not made of that anymore. You're made of the essence of it, which is so enriching. So
at the moment, with this eclipse that's happening right now tonight, the sun is beaming down on Earth. So the sun's not beaming on the moon at all at the moment, is it? Because we're having this total eclipse. So all of that energy is focusing down on the Earth.
Yes, because the Earth is in between the sun
and the moon.
So we've got the full light of the sun, and the Earth's shadow is falling on the full moon.
Yeah.
And the moon is in the sign of Taurus.
Yes.
Yeah, which is, our values, self-worth, finances, beauty, all those sensory things, and very much it's an earth sign. It's very grounded. Nature is a beautiful space to be in. Around that Taurus energy. So and adding a twist to that, the planet Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. So Uranus has been moving through the sign of Taurus, which is on a collective space, all this upheaval around the economy and financial systems. And
so the US elections right now.
Literally on a blood full moon.
Amping all that right up.
And how, I don't know if anyone's noticed, but a lot of the people calling other people to step up and vote in previous years has been very much about telling people who to vote for and things like this, but the vibe seems to be very much, it's just step up, people power, vote, show up.
Wow. So another aspect of that, because I don't want to talk about it.
No,
that at all, would be step up.
Step up.
Just step up in general. Who are you? Who do you want to be moving forward? There's a wonderful opportunity right now for you to step into. I can't even say it.
Yeah, it's like really. Taurus don't. Taurus is the stroke, by the way. People,
wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy in that. Because it's, you get straight away. Oh, but what if I get seen? Which is, what if I get hurt or what if I'm taken down because I step up and actually say this or say that or speak my truth.
Wow,
that's a big
and that's where we want to go. That's where we're getting asked to go. More than ever.
Yeah.
No matter how it looks.
Yeah.
As long as there's love there.
Love, yeah. That definitely.
That's a big one, because on that note too, I know that this has been a thread through a lot of different people. I actually read The Grounded Goddess, Vanessa Richardson, the other day, who I love. Hello, Vanessa. She did a beautiful post. and it was around the moon and what's going on, another beautiful viewpoint. But she also talked about putting people on a pedestal, and it really struck home with me because I noticed how many times I've put people on pedestals, which not only limits them in their growth, but limits me big time, more than anything, because all of a sudden I put myself under somebody.
Less than.
But I've also put them somewhere where, in some energetic level, it doesn't allow them to move anywhere as well. So it's like, I just thought that was really powerful what she said around that, and it made a lot of sense to me because we all have the ability to stand together, basically, in our own right, in whatever gift it is that we have, and you know that there's so many elements. Definitely, we all have something to offer, and we're all so individual, and
we each count. Each of us contributing makes a difference. It really is, like, you know, if you, from recycling, throwing that shit in the recycle bin, to, you know, voting, or even just speaking your truth with someone rather than pussyfooting around and saying something that might sound nice but isn't
absolutely
really what you feel. And you know, it's, again, you don't have to say it in a Scorpio way, in a way that is hurtful or they're undoing. You can say it in a kind and meaningful way, and it's still your truth. Absolutely.
And that's the one thing that I think I've learnt through another lady, Sarah Alcaldi, which she's not your typical
she's a Scorpio, isn't she?
She's a Scorpio, yeah. And I love her intensity. She has this intensity about her, and I just, at the start, I was like, whoa, when I first started watching her stuff, because it was like, she's intense, but her intensity is so beautiful, and I was like, wow, I love this about her.
And she's playful as well, isn't
she's
she?
Playful and hysterically funny. And I was just thinking how sometimes we can stop that interaction or the connection with people because of the way they speak or the way they look or whatever. You know, it's like...
Yes, yeah.
You don't have to be this softly spoken butterfly, you know, kind of fairy-looking lady or man
to be
to be spiritual or to be
a channel,
conscious, or to be aware, or to be a channel, or any of that. You can swear your ass off if that's what fits with you, or you can speak softly, or you can speak intensely. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's like, and that's what I think is coming through, is more people bringing their essence.
Yeah, that's, well, yeah, and that's the Gecko confirmation. That's a beautiful, the essence is like what comes from deep within, which again is that, you know, that Scorpio Taurus, that heart energy from the depths of your bowel, depths of your womb, that whole gut knowing through your heart and out into the world. Sharing in that way has such impact.
And that's available right now.
This is the time of incredible change, just by actually really believing, like something that's been coming up for me a lot these last couple of weeks is believing, is honouring my beliefs. Like if there's no time like now to actually just be in my beliefs, because if, you know, am I really playing with this shit, or am I really living this?
Yes.
You know, am I actually this person, or does it just suit me to have this kind of like, you know...
Wow, yes.
It's like, it's putting yourself right on that line and stepping up into that space of going, yeah, no, this is really who I am. This is really what I believe, what I know. Yeah, and it's scary,
it is.
But it's so exhilarating as well. It's very... Yeah,
it's fulfilling.
Right. Fulfilling, yeah.
Because it's like I get what you say. It's like being out all day and being this person, and then going home, and who are you in that moment? You know, when you close the door behind you. And lately, for me, it's been 100% in every way. And the little gifts, and it's, you know, not even, I don't even need to share it with anyone or speak about it, but it's like the little signs.
Yes.
And we've been talking about this, the not coincidences, because they're not coincidences.
Definite. No.
You know, you think about something, and within a moment it's there somewhere. So it's somehow like I went shopping the other day and I bought a dress. I bought a beautiful dress from Gander, and I went to Adairs and bought something on sale there. And the lady asked me if I wanted to buy a bag, and I said, yeah, I'll buy a bag. And then I was like, oh, no, it's not going to fit. So I didn't buy the bag. And anyway, I got home, hung the stuff up, went to Hota to fill up my booch. And this young girl walks past wearing the dress that I bought and holding the bag that I didn't buy from Adairs, the exact bag. And I literally teared up because I was like, that's the little confirmations that you're on the right track.
Yeah. And it's not about buying the dress or the bag. No. It's just literally you're in your flow, and there's this recognition back of you, this reflection back at you of
absolutely
you're being you.
Yeah.
You know?
And I haven't bought a dress in years. And I haven't been in Adairs in a very long time. So it's not something that I do all the time. So that's what was so beautiful. And those type of things are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so then when this happens, what's happening tonight, what's been happening from today and then tonight and then, into the night, I want to utilise it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? I want
not miss this little window of
and I know it's big. I just have a feeling that it's big. And so there's something else I just wanted to read out. This is from Elizabeth Peru, who I talked about earlier. She does the tip off, and I've been following her now since 2008. She's amazing. She does a weekly forecast, which you can go onto her website, elizabethperu.com, and sign up to her weekly forecast. Yeah. So this week, she's actually said that tonight's full moon is the most influential energy for the expansion of consciousness in 2022. So and if you've been listening to her for a long time, that's pretty powerful. So the sun and the moon are directly opposite one another, with Earth at the center. It's a full moon followed by a total lunar eclipse. The blood moon, as the moon appears to turn orange. Earth will be blocking in entirety the sun's light from the face of the moon. This eclipse is intense, as Earth is fielding the full force of the sun, with the moon receiving a complete energy reset. I like the sound of that.
That's amazing.
It's like we're giving her a break for a little while.
Bless her.
Earth will be in the dark for a period of time as mystical cosmic energy rises. This is the bookend eclipse, the closer to May's total lunar eclipse, which was earlier in the year at the full moon.
And like traditionally, eclipses, like, in past times, were seen as foreboding, and people wouldn't go outside under an eclipse and things like that.
Like a negative thing.
Yeah, and because there's such a potent energy, like it's and this particular eclipse, as you're saying, like you don't want to miss it. It's intense. Yeah, it's a big change. There's shadows, there's light, there's resets, there's letting go, and Scorpio energy doesn't like to let go. It's like, if a Scorpio has something, it's a possession, it owns it, it's like for all time.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't want it. I'm talking about Scorpio energy, not about Scorpios, or sometimes, it's another conversation.
Well, this is where the work comes in, isn't it?
This is where the work comes in. It's about, and the Taurus energy too, like, they don't want to let go in other ways because of their loyalty and those, emotional attachments. Yeah. So on all levels, and also, Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, and Leo, it's the fixed cross energy. So those 4 signs form what they call a cross, and they sit in opposition and 90 degrees, like square aspects from each other. So, it's the challenging lessons in life when you talk about oppositions and squares.
Okay.
It's not about necessarily flowing energy. So Scorpio, Taurus, they're reflecting each other.
It seems very structural to me.
Very structural.
So there's work to be done.
Yeah, the water sign with the Scorpio, the earth sign. So work to be done. So you're either making mud, or you're making clay to create a beautiful vessel to hold your heart.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it that way, like with how you approach things, that sort of thing. So it's about, if you don't want to move with the energies, if you don't want to
Which is okay too.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's
Not
make that
really,
very
you don't
clear.
feel like, that's, sometimes, we all feel it, like overwhelmed or exhausted, and you're just like, I haven't got anything left in me.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So, well, what are you going to do about that? You've got to rest.
Yeah.
You've got to take care of yourself. This is the other part of it, is like, how are you taking care of yourself?
Yeah.
How are you nourishing yourself? How are you feeding yourself on mental, physical, emotional, spiritual levels?
Yeah.
It's a time to really like not let anything go unnoticed.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Awareness at its peak. Or awareness on peak.
And choosing what you're focusing on. Don't spread yourself too thin. Like choosing what you're focusing on, what really is important to you, what isn't quite so important to you. You know, at these times, in other conversation, we the last few years have been so intense.
Yeah.
And the whole world is ready for a reset, like the moon. We all want to, that we all deserve a reset.
Yeah. No, and that's the part that excites me, and I don't know whether it's just my makeup or my star sign, Libran, or I don't even know what it is, and it doesn't matter.
No, yes.
But for some reason, I'm so pumped about this. I'm so pumped, and it's funny because so much. I've just had so much flow this last few months, and it's like exciting. This is like another level. I'm ready for the next level. Yes. And I know that that's not easy either. I know that you have to put the work in to that's
to make it happen.
Absolutely,
it's like to actually activate, realize
absolutely
the potential of what it is.
Because we live on a planet of contrast, and that's what we chose to come here for. Was to live in that. Yeah,
our purpose is somehow entwined with what is happening on the planet at this time. So there's no avoiding it. There's no escaping it.
Nope.
Yeah,
so powerful. So is there anything else we need to let the listeners know about that? So I think you brought it up too about self-care. I did read that was very important with this full moon too, is just look after yourself, whether it be baths or rest or meditation was a huge one that I heard. A lot of people saying make sure you meditate or find a great meditation to do, which I actually did that one on YouTube, which was amazing. I might actually try and add that onto the link underneath, which is really beautiful. And that was all about a lot around self-care and going within and letting go.
Yes, yeah. And I think, time in nature, like, whatever you've got at your fingertips, if it's, on your balcony with some plants or just in the fresh air, a park, you're at your garden, time by the water, any water, a lake, the ocean.
Whatever calls you.
Whatever calls you. Just create that little bit of space to go and be with nature, with mother, and maybe do your meditation there. Allow yourself to be outside of your normal environment and see how different it feels to be in that space. How that nurtures you even more.
Let go of any past.
The past is that's freaking huge. The past, like that, I think this is one of the biggest things, like for me, with how you were saying how pumped you are about this eclipse feels to me, and this full moon feels, and this actual moment in time feels like it really is time to fucking let go of the past. Not that anymore. Just absolutely not that anymore. No repeat. It's
well, it's an 18-year. Is it an 18-year cycle?
Since the last which
2004,
2004, which I had like a little baby girl, only a few months old. Some big changes around, things happening around financial stuff and things like that, and business and everything, as well as being a mum for the second time, and a lot going on. But it really took me a little while to think into and feel into what was happening for me in 2004.
Yeah.
Because again, you remember some things, you don't remember other things. It's not until you actually let yourself sort of explore a few things and put some things together. Oh, okay,
Wow.
that's kind of what the whole picture was about. Okay, that's really feeling a lot stronger now.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing was, you know, so many beautiful things to really appreciate and honour and realise what it is that I want to keep taking through.
Yeah.
And so much other stuff that just has been there in tiny little incremental ways and other ways that have been rip-roaring bad habits.
Yeah.
To really just go, nah, no more, not mucking around with that anymore. Or being, those, what did you call them? Those little things that come in, the little, you know.
The taps.
And say, why are you doing this to yourself? Why
Yeah.
are you holding that feeling about yourself? Why are you holding that belief?
Yeah.
Because it's just not true.
Yeah. Fuck, let that go.
Yeah.
In 2004, I actually left Trevor. Yeah. Charlie was only 18 months old, nearly 2, I think. And I made the decision to leave, through lots of... that'll be a whole other podcast. But, you know, when I think about it, when I look at it, it was not a very nice time. It was a powerful time, though, now in hindsight, because I stood somewhere.
Yes, yeah. And
even though I was literally pretty fucked up, I still stood somewhere for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And made a choice. And that was 2004. Wow.
Yeah, long time ago.
Long time ago. How things have changed.
Oh, so much. Yeah. And actually, when you said that, when you stood somewhere, I can remember having a pretty confrontational conversation with someone who was being a bully over basically the direction that our lives were going. And that is probably, there's been a few examples recently of a similar, not the same scenario, but the similar thing where someone's been a bully.
Yeah, and you have to stand.
And and how I'm choosing to respond to that.
Yeah. Well, they're the most important moments, because that's the turning point right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could have stayed, I could have stayed and kept going in that shit scenario, or you know, you and we decided that no more. You know, we had to make a stand and make a choice. And,
and be in your power. Being in power.
So we're back there. We're back there. Listeners, we're back there. The choice is in your hands, always. So beautiful. So beautiful.
And because the other thing about, like, at the moment, like we talked about Uranus and Taurus, affects astrology, and another planet, Pluto, has been moving through Capricorn, which is, an earth sign, and very much about building structure, achieving your goals, those archetypal energies of people in power. And we all have heard a bit about, moving into the age of Aquarius, which we did a couple of years ago. And Pluto is moving out of Capricorn soon and into Aquarius as well. So again, that's like, Pluto's a big, heavy dude. Like, he's a power monger, he's amazing.
But he's only a tiny planet.
Tiny planet, but little things come in, big things come in little packages. And so it's like, the key's been in the door for the age of Aquarius, but it's like it's going to turn.
Oh.
And the door is that activation of the humanitarian values and evolution and revolution.
Wow.
Moving into that, big time into that Aquarian energy. So that this little portal, this little window here, with the dimensions,
is just the first opening.
Well, it's kind of like it's like you said, like being pumped for this time. It's like a real connection, insight, alignment with things to come. It's like, people, we really can be free. To be
I get excited.
To be,
it's available,
safe, secure, make choices that are, worthy of what we deserve.
I think that's a really beautiful way to end.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful. This is literally a very last minute decision.
Yeah, we just kind of got a bit excited, didn't we, about where we were sitting with the full moon and the lunar eclipse, and just wanted to share a little moment with you, know, because we've got some amazing speakers to carry on through to the end of the year.
We do. Yeah. We actually have 2 amazing girls on tomorrow, which I'm so excited. We're both so excited about. We're both so excited about.
Yeah.
We're also adding, at the end of this podcast, you'll see a couple of questions that we're going to add. We'd love some feedback, ladies. Anything that you think we're missing or
you'd like to hear more of? Because we have had some absolutely beautiful, some very spontaneous conversations with people connecting with us, and the people who've already been our guests, their communities and network giving some amazing feedback as well, and it's been very affirming of the beautiful people out there, how it feels to be seen, heard, recognised, connected, resonating. So just anything that you feel comes to mind when you're listening to one of the podcasts, or any questions, please drop it in the comments.
That'd be great.
Listening to our Girl Awakening podcast. We will see you next week with a new guest, and we look forward to sharing with you an awakening. There's a link in our show notes for info regarding our guest, and a special blissful thank you to Ksenia Luki, the amazing artist behind our theme song. We will see you next week. Bye.
I talk to a spirit, she comes in my dreams, she teaches me lessons, and boy does she sing. Her voice sways like a hummingbird, flies like a shooting star. She whispers, you were never born, so you will never die. Every step of the way, remember